Why does it always look like Trump is doing whatever he can to defeat himself? The truth is, he does have a plan to win, and it depends on two things: how much he is able to scare voters who are planning to vote for Biden, and how angry can he make people who are voting for him. Economy is the one thing that gets top billing from voters across the country. It was the top issue in 2020, 2016, 2012, 2008, 2004, and possibly forever. Trump understands this. No matter which direction he drives his Twitter account on a given day, he will always come back to pat himself on the back on the economy. According to Trump, the US economy is the best it has ever been under his administration, despite President Obama registering better growth in his last 3 years than Trump did in his first three. Trump can sleepwalk to his re election if he flattens the COVID 19 curve in the next 50 days. But the problem is, his COVID 19 is nothing to worry about strategy, allows this virus to spread and drag the country deeper into an economic hole. It is actually bizarre that Trump would set sail in a direction that hurts his standing on the economy. It is the one metric in which he has consistently led Biden. This pandemic cannot be contained without a strategy that's applied equally by all the states. All you need is one person to spread it to 10 people in another state, and you will have an outbreak that grows faster than your ability to track. To flatten the COVID 19 curve, the US needs a national strategy that strengthens the healthcare system and makes full use of technology. If the federal government throws its weight behind such a plan, people will place their trust in it, making it easier to contain the spread. But it's already clear that Trump and his administration does not want to do anything with it. The Trump administration remains uninterested in big federal action because responsibility can cut both ways, especially in an election year. They're not looking for the never-ending prize for containing COVID, neither they want the non-stop blame for failure. So what they have done? They have just sat back and watched the number of cases increase and increase and increase. From thousands of cases in April, we are now staring in the millions. No other country comes even close. Downplaying the importance of masks, promoting hydroxychloroquine, opposition to mail-in voting, and the plan to undermine USPS are what I'm going to call as the four pillars of the president's re-election strategy. Trump has always had an eye on mail-in voting. Back in April, he tweeted something we should look back at. Republicans should fight very hard when it comes to statewide mail-in voting. Democrats are clamoring for it. Tremendous potential for voter fraud, and for whatever reason, it doesn't work out well for Republicans. The whatever reason he is talking about is actually the way the demographics have changed in the United States. The US demographics has transitioned so much in the last 20 years that the number of non-Republicans outnumber Republicans by a wide margin. The Republican Party won the popular vote only once since 1988. And according to data collected by University of Virginia, there are nearly 12 million more registered Democrats than Republicans across 31 states. And if they vote, Donald Trump will be gone. Let's remember Trump won Michigan by just 10,704 votes. As former First Lady Michelle Obama noted in her DNC speech, in one of the states that determined the outcome, the winning margin averaged out by just 2 voters per precinct. 2 voters. So a sharp increase in turnout due to mail-in voting will move the election in favor of Biden. Only in-person voting offers Trump a chance to compete. But how do you host an in-person election in the middle of a pandemic that's sweeping the nation? Well, that's when you get Trump's COVID-19 is nothing to worry about strategy. This led to the promotion of unproven drugs such as hydroxychloroquine, a stubborn refusal for a national mask mandate, and distancing from social distancing. See, if you encourage the base to not fear COVID, then they will be more willing to vote in person. Believe it or not, this Trump strategy is actually working. On June 25th, the Pew Research Center published an extremely distressing poll, which actually showed the difference between Democratic and Republican attitudes on COVID 19 is growing. 37% of Democrats, but 72% of Republicans said that they are comfortable in getting a haircut. 8% of Democrats, but 31% of Republicans didn't have a problem in attending a crowded party. Trump may or may not achieve his objectives with USPS, but the problem is on the election day, he is assured of getting his voters turned out. But the Democrats cannot say the same. By continuously questioning the legitimacy of the election, Trump achieves three targets in one. He gets his base to turn out, makes Democratic leaning voters to question if they really have to vote, and divert attention from his handling of the pandemic. So let's not get fooled into thinking that the president will self destruct. He has a clear plan and he is working his way towards it. To win, the president needs the turnout to be as low as possible, and he is doing everything in his power to do just that. Don't be scared and make sure that you vote and you vote early.